Now, thousands of commuters were left stranded this morning as bus drivers strike over salaries. They are refusing to get behind the wheel until their demands are met. They want a 12% pay increase while the employer is offering 7%. eNCA reporter Athi Mtongana is in Salt River. She joins us now live. Athi, we've been all over Cape Town witnessing how people were so frustrated this morning. We're still hearing the strike will continue indefinitely.
That's correct, Shahan, and in fact, you're right, we are at the COSATU office here in Cape Town, and I'm not alone. I'm joined by Tony from COSATU. We understand that there are various unions that are involved in the negotiations that are ongoing or have come to a halt at the national level. Tony, just give us your stance as COSATU on this bus strike.
Well, COSATU supports all workers who are on strike, but we believe in this instance we must find a solution sooner than later. Part of the problem is that we have all of the federations involved in this negotiation. So COSATU's there, NACTU's there, and SAFTU's there, NUMSA, TAU, and SATAU from COSATU. And it's the divisions amongst workers that make sure that we weaken in the negotiations. So this is a clear sign that as workers we must come together and we must strike together to make sure we're able to win demands for the workers, but also not affect the working class, who's been most affected by the public transport fiasco that comes about because of the transport strike. The strike is designed to teach the bosses a lesson by affecting their levels of profits, but at the moment the bosses are carrying on, and the only people that's being hard done by the strike is the commuters who have no alternative transport, especially in a big city like Cape Town.
Speaking about the commuters, we were in Khayelitsha Site C, one of the busiest taxi ranks here in Cape Town, and you're right, they are the ones that bear the brunt of such negotiations and such strikes. This happened last year as well. I remember we were out in Khayelitsha, just speaking to commuters, and this is really frustrating for the workers, and we do understand also on the part of the drivers where there is a no work, no pay implementation. Tony, what will it get, or when will we ever see an end to such strikes and such negotiations and such issues and disputes between workers and employees?
Well, a big part of the problem is that the bosses are making such huge profits and the workers have to subsidize that profits because they earn such low wages. So the problem in South Africa is only going to be addressed when workers are paid decent wages, and that's why we must strike together. But often we have a situation where when we have one sector in difficulty, because the other sectors are so dysfunctional, and in this case Metro Rail is completely inefficient, and so because the workers want to teach the bosses a lesson, there's no alternative transport because the rail system is just not functioning properly. So we've got to fix those issues so that when we take action, the action cripples the bosses, it doesn't cripple other workers and other sectors of the economy. And so that's amongst the challenges that we must address, and in part that's because we haven't invested in infrastructure in the rail system and we've had so much corruption. So those are the things that must be sorted out as a matter of urgency. But in Cape Town, like in many other of the metros, there are no contingency plans on the part of those people responsible for transport. So the City of Cape Town municipality and the provincial government are saying nothing about the matter. They're just sitting back because it's black workers who are having a hard time and they have no regard for them. And that's why COSATU is deeply unhappy. And we want the bosses, in this instance, we want them to split the difference. So the workers want 12%, the bosses are offering 7%. We think 9.5% would be a settlement that should be reached sooner than later so that the inconvenience and the loss of income to other workers can stop as soon as possible.
We know that the CCMA is also now being roped in. You're mentioning a resolution, or a solution rather, sooner than later. Do you have an idea when that is going to be, especially for the viewers who are watching at home who couldn't go to work because of a lack of transport?
Well, the CCMA is a public institution, so they must step in immediately through the instruction from the Department of Labour and try and help the parties to come to an agreement. As COSATU, we believe that they must split the 5% difference that is between their positions, and 9.5% is a good position along with the other demands that the workers have made. But what we've got to deal with is a fair split of the profits that happens in these companies so that the workers get a decent wage for their contribution to their profits. As long as old white companies continue to exploit workers, we're going to have these deep divisions. But it's not the white companies that suffer. It's the workers and the working class who need public transport that suffers. So we need to make sure that many forms of public transport are actually nationalized so that we provide proper services and proper payments to the workers involved in providing those services, and it should not be dependent on the profit and the greed of some private companies.
All right, thank you very much, Tony from Kasatu. No alternatives for a lot of Cape Townians and in fact other commuters from across the country that have been affected by this bus strike other than taxis and trains. And as he mentioned, Metro Rail in the Western Cape is currently experiencing a lot of issues, technical issues in terms of, you know, the trains being vandalized and damaged. So commuters right now receiving some few comforting words with what Tony just said about how he's hoping that a solution will be reached sooner rather than later.
All right, thanks for that. eNCA reporter Athi Mtongana is out in Cape Town.